What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Xbox 2 podcast, and I'm one of your hosts, back again, Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, alongside the one and only Jez Corden of Windows Central, who's a little bit tired today. He's a little bit tired.
Yep, I'm always tired. Always tired. But it's Friday. It's Friday around, which means tomorrow's Saturday. And I finish all my work and I get to have a break. So that's nice.
That is, the weekend's always nice. But, me and Jez, since we do this podcast together as a collaborative effort, we've heard everybody's, what would be concerns or maybe not concerns is the right word, but wishes, feedback, that they want to be able to listen to the podcast in other places than just YouTube. So starting with this episode, we are going to throw Xbox 2 podcast up on, what'd you say, Jez? Like SoundCloud, iTunes, basically where all the podcasts.
iTunes, podcast RSS feeds, all podcast apps, basically anything where you can listen to podcasts, except for Spotify, I think. You'll be able to get access to it, although we'll look into Spotify as well. Why not? We'll put it on everything. We'll get it on everywhere. You'll see us on billboards on New York Times Square and all that.
Yeah.
Maybe not that, but
so
a lot of places.
Yeah, for those of you that wanted to listen to it, not on YouTube, you got your wish. This will be the first episode that will go up, and there, and every previous episode or concurrent episode after that will go up there. So for those of you listening, first time iTunes, I'm just going to give a little info about myself really quickly. I don't want to bore everybody. I'm Randall Thor 19. I run this channel here. It is my channel. I do daily videos, mainly about Xbox, but normally just pretty much strictly gaming, while Xbox is my primary platform. I do, news, opinion pieces, indie spotlights where I talk about a game I really enjoy. And also, I have over 1 million gamer score, which I achieved at E3. 2016 was invited personally by Phil Spencer and Mike Ybarra to do it there. So, I'm just a gamer that enjoys Xbox. Jez, what would you have to say about yourself really quickly?
I like caffeine, hard liquor, vodka and Jack Daniels specifically. I play video games. Sometimes I write about them for Windows Central, but mostly I'm a casual alcoholic and should never be listened to under any circumstances.
That's right. Jez should never be listened to. And the reason we didn't have the podcast on Wednesday wasn't Rand's fault. I was ready to go, but Jez had a Valentine's Day date. Oh,
that happened. That was a thing that happened.
Yes. No Valentine's date for Rand. Nobody loves Rand.
What about your Xbox, man?
That's like a one-way love, man. Xbox loves me. I don't love Xbox. Oh. Yeah. Nobody loves Rand. People love Jez. That's just how it goes. You got a lot of love this past week, man. You did. People were loving the information that you were providing, and we'll talk about that first, since it's a big topic. You were invited to Rare, see the studio, talk to developers behind Sea of Thieves. You put out 110 articles last week or on the 13th.
Yeah, there was on Windows Central, a lot of our readers are primarily Windows or Windows Phone users, and some people were complaining oh my god, what is this, Sea of Thieves Central? It's we put out a lot of articles last week. But Rare gave us a lot of stuff to write about.
Yes, they did.
They basically blew the lid off loads of new features. I mean, we'll go through them in a bit of detail in a bit, but yeah, it was a pretty epic week last week. I'm not gonna lie. Well, this week. It was this week.
It was this week. It was on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I mean, you're tired. We'll forgive you for this. You're tired. You got all your work done. You're looking forward to the weekend. You had a Valentine's date, and then you had a busy week. You went to Rare, late nights up, typing like a keyboard monkey, trying to get those articles finished. I get it, man.
Yep.
But
what about you? What did you do?
What did I do? I played PubG. as I normally do. But you know what? I think my time with PUBG might be coming to an end because the last night I played, I just wasn't having any fun. So you know what I did yesterday, Jez? Instead of playing PUBG,
You played Fortnite.
no, I turned on my PlayStation 4
Oh.
and I immersed myself in the world of Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh.
So I have I have 5 Colossi left. So for those of you looking for a review of Shadow of the Colossus, it'll probably be actually done tomorrow or Sunday. Um, I know I waited a little bit long, but man, I don't know what it is about PUBG, but like that stuff is like crack to me, Jazz. I don't get it. I'm so addicted to that game. And I was like shirking all these other games that I bought or other these games I have for review, right? Like there's a new Fall game that's out, part 2, and I really enjoyed the first one, but I haven't played the second one. There's these games out there that I want to play and do videos for, you know, Shadow of the Colossus, and it's just like I get on and it's like PUBG, and all my friends are playing PUBG, so I go play PUBG, but maybe that time is coming to an end after 270 hours.
Well, it sounds like you got your money's worth at least.
Yeah.
I got a PUBG story actually.
Oh, a PUBG story from Jazz. Let's hear it.
I don't play PUBG very much. I don't enjoy it that much. I'm too impatient for the game, and I just don't enjoy it that much. And you know, the only times I play it is when I co-stream with Justin Roby on Mixer, and we were streaming it this morning in a co-stream of 4 people, and my whole team died, and I was solo, and you know, I was playing by myself, and Roby said, "I will give away an Xbox One X if Jess gets a chicken dinner." So I'm thinking, yeah, right, I've got to play better now than I've ever played in my life. And sure enough, I get 1 kill, I get 2 kills, I get 3 kills, and it's like, oh my god, I've never played this well before. And it was like my first game back after like, I don't know, like 3 weeks or something. I hadn't played PUBG, and I'm doing really well. I'm doing really well. And then there's 7 people left, and I'm in the top 10. I'm thinking, yeah, there's a chance here that I can force Roby to buy someone an Xbox One X. And I'm driving around in the Jeep, and my brain just forgot that I wasn't playing Battlefield. So I jumped out of a Jeep while it was driving at like 100 miles an hour and died instantly.
Aw.
It was so anticlimactic. Because in Battlefield, you can drive at 1,000 miles an hour and just jump out, and because your legs are made of titanium or something, and it's fine. And I just thought I was playing Battlefield for a moment there, and screwed it all up. And
it's okay. Somebody in chat's like, I'm gonna win an Xbox One X, and then you jump out of the car while it's moving. Good, good job.
But yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
Good job. Yeah, I mean, PUBG. I don't know. It depends, man. Like it's the performance issues suck. There are points in the game where it really hampers the enjoyment or hampers the experience. And then I see like Fortnite, on the other hand, adding a 60 frames mode to all the consoles and constantly is updated with new stuff. And I'm just like, why can't they do this? Why can't Bluehole do this for PUBG? Like they already sold 30 million copies. It's not like they don't got the money.
They've got money from Microsoft. They got money from Tencent. They've sold tens of millions of copies.
Right? Like, where is the updates? And I know, okay, Epic Games, they actually are the masters of the Unreal Engine, probably lets them iterate more than anybody else since they, you know, make it. But I'm like, I look at the two and I'm like, no wonder Fortnite's starting to eat into PUBG's lunch. Number one, it's free. And number two, it's updated weekly. You know, if not every other day. And you know, they get the 60 frames patch, and here I am dealing with sub 20 frames at points and really hampering the enjoyment. And it's just like, you know what? I might just take a time off of PUBG, wait for them to actually optimize it, wait for them to use the millions and millions of dollars that they've gotten from selling 30 million copies on the PC and probably 5 million copies on Xbox at this point. Fix your game. Because at this point, all the patches they do for PUBG are fixing things they break in the previous patch.
And they still haven't fixed the ponytail bug.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Add achievements. Do something. God. Like Claybook just launched in game preview, right? Claybook. And it came out with the achievements day one in game preview. Right? So like the argument, well, in game preview, you don't have to have achievements. Yeah, that works for some games, but like I don't know. Fix your game. Optimize it. Get it running at look, I'm not even asking for 60 frames per second because I don't think PUBG can. I'm asking for at least lock it at 30. I want if you're not going to do 60, at least have it locked at 30 at all times. And you know what? If you have to dynamically scale the resolution, by all means, please do that. Because let's be honest here. Jazz, everybody in chat, Salty, DI, Fuzzy Belvedere, Gaming Forte. There's no reason why freaking PUBG should be 4K anyways, because it's not a good looking game. Why is it in 4K? Who cares about 4K in PUBG? Optimize the frame rate first. No, I'm on a rant. Anyways.
I agree. I agree for the record.
But you just said last week you don't care about 60 frames in frame rate.
It's all about resolution. In multiplayer games. God.
Okay.
I take the 60 in multiplayer games, especially PUBG, but I don't care about any single player games. But let's not get into that again, because you'll lose the argument again. So, what have you been playing around? That's how we usually start.
PUBG, which I just talked about, some Shadow of the Colossus, which I'm going to finish tonight. And then after that, I'm not really sure. I was thinking about maybe getting Metal Gear Survive next week, but I don't know. No, don't.
I won't let you buy it.
Okay, don't let me buy it. Okay.
It's evil. Metal Gear Survive is an evil game. Nobody should buy it. It's evil. If you buy Metal Gear Survive, kittens will die all around the world. It's evil. Black magic, voodoo, Konami animating the corpse of one of the best franchises in video game history, and it shouldn't happen, man. It shouldn't happen.
Yeah. So either
seriously though, it sickens me as a Metal Gear fan. The way they've cynically abused the IP to make like this zombie battle royale Daisy wannabe game is just awful. It's like it's the biggest slap in the face to every Metal Gear fan, I think. And I just think it's nothing sacred. It's nothing sacred to Konami. So yeah, that's how I feel about Metal Gear Survive.
Nothing is sacred. Nothing is sacred. I don't know. I was thinking about getting it, but probably not. Like I said on
next week.
What?
Instead.
What?
Deep Rock Galactic.
I mean, it doesn't come out till the 28th.
Is it 28th? I thought it was 22nd.
No, it's the 28th.
Damn it. Okay, well, wait, save your money, and then get Deep Rock Galactic the following week.
I watched you play it on stream. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a game for me.
Well,
the whole mining aspect and collecting all that stuff, and I'm not a fan of those type of games. With that said, I'll give it a chance. I'll play it when it comes out, but
it's a co-op game. You need a dedicated co-op team to play it. I mean, it's not a game I'd recommend you play solo, but I played it last night with Zach, Dan, and Matt from Windows Central, and it was intense. It was super fun. It's like basically Minecraft meets Left 4 Dead, and like you get a mission in this procedurally generated planetary mine, and you have to go there, get a specific type of mineral, and then fight waves of like spider creatures, and then extract yourself. And when you're trying to extract, it alerts all kinds of bosses and monsters and stuff as you're trying to escape. And it's really, really cool. I really, 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 really liked it. But it's coming out at the wrong time probably, because a few weeks later, Sea of Thieves is coming out, and I probably won't play Deep Rock Galactic ever again.
No, so my like plan of attack, since like I want to play less than PUBG is I'm gonna finish Shadow Classes, put a video out. I'm gonna finish God of War 3 because it's getting close to God of War, the new God of War. Uh, I want to play next week. There's a couple of games I'm gonna do any spotlights for, like The Station, Past Cure. I want to go back and play The Fall Part 2, which is a game I really enjoyed from the first one. And then from there, I don't know. I mean, Far Cry 5 is next month. Sea of Thieves is next month. I did see,
Surviving Mars is next month.
I know I saw. Well, actually, isn't it? Oh, yeah, it is. But
Comes out
I'm
the
not.
same
Surviving Mars isn't also my type of game either.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I understand that part.
I
God,
mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't try it, but it doesn't really get me excited. I know there's a lot coming out between Xbox and PlayStation. I've had a Switch in my Amazon cart like 4 times now. I almost like bought it like 4 different times, but
What? You said you didn't like it.
the Switch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any love for Nintendo, but you know, there are some games that Bayonetta 3,
games?
Bayonetta 2, Bayonetta 3. I mean, people tell me I need to play Zelda.
Hang on. You're the guy who said you wouldn't play Nier Automata, but you want to play Bayonetta 3.
No. I never said I would never play Nier Automata. I have Nier Automata. There's this other games I would rather play before that. Look, you told me, you're like, Rand, you'd love Nier Automata. You'd love it, right? But then I've had other people who know me very well. They're like, you despise that game.
I don't know, actually. Now that I know you better, maybe you wouldn't like it. But it's got waifus in it, so...
I'm not that big a fan of waifus, though.
Oh, well.
I mean, look...
Well, you didn't have a Valentine's Day.
I know, right? Rand needs some love. I need some love.
Yeah, if there's anyone...
But I mean, I'm not. It's not that I'm not interested in Nier Automata. I am. It's made by Platinum Games. I really like... I enjoy a lot of their games. Well, they're good games. They're, you know, like Vanquish, Bayonetta, Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance. So like, yeah, I'm interested in Nier Automata for sure. It's just like there's so many games out. It's like it's hard to like pick a game, especially with PUBG, because every time I get on PUBG, it's like okay, I'm gonna play on PUBG at 8 p.m. and then 3 p.m. rolls around, 3 a.m. rolls around. It's like, well, there goes the whole night. I didn't do anything except play PUBG. You know, like it kind of has really taken a toll on my gaming, like what I play. So I just need to kind of like set that aside. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Shadow Colossus is freaking awesome. You know, it still has issues, but the issues it has are just carryovers from the original release. You know, the camera isn't great. What else? The controls are a little bit finicky. Most of the problems that Shadow of the Colossus had are the same problems it had when it came out. But it's still freaking awesome. It's still one of my favorite games of all time. There's still like not any game really like it out there ever since it came out. But I'll do a video explaining more of my thoughts tomorrow or Sunday. But anyways, I'm assuming you played PUBG and you probably played like World of Warcraft and
actually no, I haven't been playing World of Warcraft, and I'll tell you why. Monster Hunter World has taken my life over, and I haven't been on WoW recently because of Monster Hunter World. It's just such a aggressively addictive game. It's like it feels like there's not a lot to it, but there really is so much to it, and it's just these little loops of, you know, fun over and over again, and you can't even get a breather in Monster Hunter World. There's always something to do. It's a really, really great game. Whether you want to play in a short burst or a really long session, it's a really fun game. Have you played that yet?
No, I own it, but I have no intentions of playing it.
You own it, but you have no intentions of playing it. I don't get you.
I mean, Jazz, I have over 1,000 Xbox One games.
Why buy it?
Who says I bought it?
How did you get it?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Yeah,
don't worry about it.
That's right. That's fine.
Don't worry about it.
You should play it with a friend. and kill some monsters.
All my
I,
friends are off that game. Gopher put 70 hours in it. He finished it. He's done. You know, everybody who I played PUBG with played that game for a bit and then stopped. And it's
oh, your
over.
friends are. Oh,
I know. I
your
just want to
friends
give
are
a
just too damn hardcore, man. That's the problem.
shout out to Cyrus Burke for the super chat. He says Black Panther is lit AF. I am now Wakandan. Wakanda forever. I might go see Black Panther sometime next week, but not this weekend. This weekend's about gaming, and it's about gaming without PUBG.
That's fair enough.
Monster
I don't
Hunter.
know what I'm going to play this weekend. I might just have a break from gaming this weekend. I might jump on Sea of Thieves actually. The Sea of Thieves live again. They're stress testing on Sea of Thieves, and honestly, I haven't found there to be any lag whatsoever so far. So that bodes well, potentially.
Are people streaming it again? Can you stream this one?
Yeah,
Or
well, this is weird because on the Sea of Thieves website it says no, you can't stream, but the PR people told me I could stream. So maybe it's just for mixer partners who can stream it. I don't know, but I don't know. Yeah, they told me I could stream it, so maybe I'll stream Sea of Thieves this weekend. I don't know. I might try and play solo a bit. They've changed a few things in Sea of Thieves. You can only have 2 weapons equipped at any one time now. So you have to choose between a sword and 2 guns or something like that.
huh?
It's interesting.
Hmm.
Because before you could have a sword, a pistol, a shotgun, and a sniper rifle, but now
And a
you can only have 2
blunderbuss.
weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, the shotguns.
And
blunderbuss.
so you can only equip 2, huh?
You can only equip 2 weapons now. In this build, maybe they'll change it again. I don't know. But whatever. Oh yeah, and also the character creation system is in, and Chief Tommy's calling me a liar because I said there's millions of unique pirates to select from. That's what they told me. Okay, and the character selection system in Sea of Thieves is procedurally generated, so technically, it's true that there are millions of combinations because it can include tattoos and different body features and stuff like that. So there's a lot of controversy about the character selection system in Sea of Thieves, Rand.
Controversy.
Yeah, because they don't let you create your own character.
What's
You have to
controversy? Is that controversy?
Yeah, controversy. The British
Oh,
way of
must be the
pronouncing it.
British way of saying that word, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Controversy. How do you say?
Controversy.
Controversy. Or yeah, controversy.
Well,
I don't know.
Since you brought up Sea Thieves and you went to why don't you tell us about the trip? Why don't you tell us about all the info and that Kraken boss fight?
Oh, the Kraken was so good. It was so cool. Okay, so Microsoft dropped me a line and they were like, "Yo, we know you live near Rare. Come and check out our game, Sea of Thieves at Rare, latest build, and find out new things along with all the real game journalists." And I'm sitting there with like the BBC and GQ magazine and the Guardian and professional people, and I'm just there like, I'm professional too. I had no prep, I had no sleep, but damn, we did some good content, and pretty pleased myself about that. But anyway, we went to Rare, and Rare is stunning. It's an incredible place. Like the whole studio is just amazing. It's like there's props everywhere. There's like Battletoad statue in one corner, Killer Instinct arcade machine in another, and huge screens showing off mixer streams of Sea of Thieves on another. And there's just Sea of Thieves statues everywhere in that studio. And it's massive and it's just stunning. It's such a cool place, and like you really get a sense that the Rare team are like this family, this family unit. Like you always hear these things about like crunch and how like game devs are all stressed out and stuff like that. And I'm sure being a game dev at Rare is incredibly stressful, especially right now. But I didn't get a sense that people were stressed or upset or anything. There was such an energy. There was such like there was just such a joy about, because when I went to Rare, it was just as they were hitting number 1 on Twitch, and it was like they uh they just they were just energized by that fact that they were hitting number 1 on Twitch, and all these stats from figures rolling in, the people saying nice things about the game and all that stuff, and it was just incredible. It was just incredible to get a glimpse of that, when the industry, there's so much negativity and so much drama. I mean, like, I'm looking at our YouTube window right now, and it's recommending me a video from some YouTubers,
What's
talking
interesting,
about
Jazz?
shit games and stuff like that.
You know what's
So it's funny.
interesting? I just went to Twitch, and Sea of Thieves is the highest stream game right now over League of
Again?
Legends. 192,602 viewers. League of Legends is second with 191,067, and Fortnite's third.
That's
So,
incredible.
yeah, Sea of Thieves #1 on Twitch again.
And they barely even advertised this stress test compared to the last one. Well, that's interesting. But, in any case, it's pretty amazing. So basically, we were there to check out some new things, one of them being the character selection screen. Now, controversy, however you want to say it, you can't create your own character. There are no sliders like Skyrim. There are no, you can't select the space between your eyeballs, and you can't change your eye color and that sort of thing. Basically, what it does is it gives you 8 procedurally generated pirates, and you have to choose one, and that becomes your pirate. You can re-roll them. You can re-roll them indefinitely until you find a pirate that you like the most. But the idea is that they don't want to have any presets. They don't want to have any defaults. They don't want to have a game where, like, most players are running around role playing, Jack Sparrow and stuff like that. They want to make sure that all the characters have the Sea of Thieves identity. So that's the way they've done it that way. I mean, at first I was like, that's kind of sad, because I am the kind of person who will spend 2 hours making a character. But they made the point that the vast majority of players don't bother making a character. They just stick with the default skin. And in games like Ark Survival Evolved, and I'm sure anyone who's played Ark will attest to this, but most of the people in Ark are pretty much running around with the default bald guy skin, because they can't be bothered to use the character creation
Yeah.
system.
You know what I think about that? Good, because you want to know how often I make my own character in the game? Never.
Well, there you go. You are in the majority.
Like, I
But the thing
always
is,
choose or I just like will randomize to get like one that I like, because I'm not spending the time like, oh, let me look at my lips, let me look at my cheekbones. Like in Mass Effect, I was the default shepherd. In other games, like I'm happy with that. I don't really care. Like, maybe this is why I don't care about cosmetics, but I don't care what my character looks like. So in Rare, whenever we play Sea of Thieves, and you better play with me one of these days, when the game fully releases,
hell
so you
yeah.
can show me the ropes. I'm just gonna, keep on hitting the carousel until I find a character I like. So to me, that's better. So I just want to play the game. I don't want to spend hours trying to make my perfect Rare character. So
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you do select that pirate from that screen, but there's still a vanity chest in game where you can customize tattoos, obviously all of your clothes, hooks and peg legs. Those are vanity items. You can change your hairstyles and purchase new ones and unlock those. So it's not like you don't have any control over what your pirate looks like, because obviously you can change your hair, you can change your beard, tattoos, scars, and other features like that, like hooks and peg legs and that sort of thing. It's just they want to make sure that every pirate in the game looks unique, and to ensure that, it means that they take some of the control away from players. But I think ultimately, people won't really care. I mean, if people don't buy the game because of not having a character creation screen, then they probably weren't that interested in it anyway. But in any case, that's the character creation stuff. Some of the other stuff that they showed us Um, a lot of it was just, pretty cool. One of the cool things was this pirate hideout feature. So, when you hit max reputation with one of the trade guilds, I think they're called, um, they will lead you on a quest that lets you find this pirate hideout, and basically this is like the end game sort of content where you become like a pirate legend, and then you can have access to a special cave, um where you can get access to higher level voyages, which were literally described to me as being like raids. These are like the difficult voyages, and which you can share them with any player. But if you are the pirate legend, they're your voyages, and
See,
they have
that right
better
there,
rewards.
that right there is a little weird because you're saying that. So you get the pirate legend, you get like the camp behind a waterfall, and this gives you the quest to go on these super hard raids that give you these great gear, but you can play them with people who like just started the game. So how hard can they be?
Well, it doesn't matter because it's not like the game's a level playing field,
Well, no, but
So
I mean, like in Destiny, say for example, the raid's the pinnacle, like right, the raid content. You have to be a certain level to be able to do enough damage and not get killed enough to go on those things to get the better loot. But like, I kind of like feel with the way they talked about this, like Pirate Legend. It's like, oh, this is like the raid stuff. These are really hard adventures, but yet you can take somebody on it like who just started the game, like how hard
yeah,
realistically is it going to be? And it
I don't know.
obviously can't be, because if you're able to take someone who just started on this adventure that's super hard, like it can't be that difficult, like
I have
otherwise.
no idea. I have no idea.
I don't know, like the idea of having a pirate like hideout behind a waterfall is pretty cool, but like I don't know, maybe we'll just wait to see what the game's like when it comes out. But there's something about that where there's like, oh, super raid like content or super hard, but yet you can bring someone who's played the game for 10 minutes into it. It's like something doesn't feel right on that one.
I don't know. I mean, we don't know. They're specifically keeping this stuff a secret because they want players to discover it for themselves. So we won't know what these legendary voyages entail until later. So we just need to find out. Um, so there's that whole system, and we if you become a pirate legend, you also get access to all these special cosmetic items and stuff like that. And then later on, there will be they're gonna add this captaincy update, which lets you sort of access some new missions that lets you have like a more epic looking ship and stuff like that, and even more customization and stuff. And I don't know. They didn't really go into too much detail about that, but that's also part of the pirate hideout stuff. Now, beyond that, some of the stuff they described to us was more to do with about things that you can do in the game world. So, like, in PubG when you get like those supply crates drop and there's a huge flare come down, and everyone starts fighting over the supply crate.
Yeah,
There's
because
this
it's got
epic.
good loot.
Now, Sea of Thieves kind of has that too, and they're called skeleton outpost raids. So sometimes when you're sailing around in the sea, you'll see like a huge thundering cloud that looks like a skull. That means an outpost is active for a raid, and the outpost will be full of skeletons and a skeleton boss who has a key which lets you access his vault, and the vault is crammed with treasure chests, more chests than any single crew can carry in one trip. So basically, those big skull clouds will be um, basically big PvP banners where people go and fight the skeletons and then fight over the loot, or maybe work together somehow um, to try and get these chests. And that sounds like it'll form the sort of PvP of the game. Like, because I know, like, for example, when I was playing Sea of Thieves with Zach, he was kind of like, I want to find people to kill more easily and stuff. And I kind of feel like the skull the skull clouds will be a beacon for PvP and
Let me
stuff
let
like that.
me ask you this: death in Sea of Thieves is meaningless. At least how it was in the beta. Are they changing that? Because like you die, you wait 20 seconds, you respawn. Like it like it's like essentially meaningless.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean they said they didn't want to have these sort of crushing low. I mean they specifically talked about DayZ and Rust and games like that where if you die you lose everything, and you get like these situations where you've had like been playing for hours and then you lose everything, you have to start over. They specifically said they don't want to make a game like that. They don't want to make a game where the lows are so low that you want to quit the game.
No,
um
I mean I get that, but I'm just saying like in this scenario of these skeleton raids, right? Which sound
okay,
pretty
so
cool.
they did. I know what you're saying. So like you die and then you respawn
And you'll
near
be
the boat.
right back at your ship
Right.
that's right there at
So
the the thing. So it's like,
okay, so one of the things Mike Chapman told me was that they're gonna spawn people further away from where they were in the previous test.
oh, okay, well
And
that makes more sense.
the reason for that partially the reason he brought that up specifically was because I was describing a scenario to him where me, Roby, and a couple of other chaps on Mixer, um, we absolutely decimated a crew so badly. We stole 5 of their chests. We sunk their boat. We killed them multiple times, and they were trying to respawn. We just killed them again because I don't know. Maybe they were bad at the game. I don't know. But we were joking about how we'd caused them to cancel their pre-orders because we just killed them so badly and ruined. We sunk their boat and stole all their loot and stuff like that. And I was saying like it seems weird that they were able to just respawn over and over and over again in the same place, and we were able to kill them over and over and over again, because that doesn't feel like good gameplay. It reminds me of like old school World of Warcraft, where you could just stand at the graveyard and just kill a low level player over and over again if you wanted to be an asshole, you know. And he said that they're going to tweak some of those numbers and start like they're going to push people further away to break up fights like that in those situations, and which prevents griefing, and I suppose, and also prevents scenarios like you said where you can just like respawn back on the objective and
Right.
just sort of death rush to the loot, I guess.
So
But
tell me, because I've seen a couple questions in here. Microtransactions, big
yes,
talking point. I've seen some outlets have their article written up as Sea of Thieves will have microtransactions, and other outlets go with the title of No loot boxes ever in Sea of Thieves. Um, what do you think about it? What was their explanation to you about? Yeah, there's going to be microtransactions, but you know what you're going to be buying, and it won't be there at launch, so it'll be there 3 months later. What's their philosophy behind DLC and microtransactions and stuff?
okay, well, they're building a service game with Sea of Thieves. Service games cost money. Daily They have a daily, they have daily costs. They've got to run the servers. They've got to, they've got to run, um, they've got to, pay people's wages, and they've got to run all their analytics, and there's data uploading, and it costs money to run a game like this over time. And some of the Sea of Thieves, 2 of the Sea of Thieves staff said to me they would be happy to work on Sea of Thieves for the rest of their careers. They literally told me that. Now, if the plan is for Sea of Thieves to last for a very long time, if it does take off and loads of people are playing it for a long time, they're gonna want to fund that game, And yeah, they'll make a load of money from the sales up front, but how do you cash flow that down the line? Now you got to have monetization. Now they said they didn't want to have loot crates because it detracts from the fact that all the rewards in game are cosmetic, and it distracts from the fact that you actually get crates in game as a game mechanic and stuff like that. So instead, what they're going to do is, when it comes to microtransactions, all content in the game will be free and added for free. New quests will show up for free, and stuff like that. Um, but the way they're going to monetize that in the first instance is they're gonna add these sort of these fun like toys, basically these little toys that you can purchase to support the game. Basically, they don't offer any sort of a competitive advantage. They're just sort of little fun things that you can play with your friends, kind of like the instruments and stuff like that. So like the first batch of like fun things they're going to add that you can buy with your own money are going to be pets. And like cats, monkey with a hat was mentioned. Obviously, they're gonna have parrots and stuff like that. So that each of these animals are gonna have like unique behavior and stuff like that.
What animal do you want?
I
want a dog. Can I have a dog?
I imagine there will be a dog. I imagine there'll be a dog. I kind of want to have. Now, oh, they told me no pet fish, sadly, and I was like, how can you have a Sea of Thieves game, a sea game, and not have pet fish? Because you could have like a fish bowl on your ship and put the fish in there, and but no, there's no pet fish, sadly, by the sounds of it. But I don't know. But anyway, they said like these pets, you can pick them up, you can throw them, you can your crewmate can pet them and play with them too and stuff like that. And Joe Neat was saying that he wants to have it where you can shoot them out of cannons as well and stuff like that. So like,
wait, nobody's gonna be shooting my dog out of a cannon.
Well,
that's gonna be my pup.
If Joe Neat has his way, people will be able to shoot your pets out of.
Maybe they can't have a dog because that's reserved for Playground's Fable game. Like dogs are off limits because they're gonna be a dog in Fable.
Maybe. I remember that. I want a pet capybara, Kevin Max says. A pet capybara would be awesome.
Dolphin racing. Yes, a pet dolphin that like swims next to your ship the entire time. Badass.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing they're going to add in microtransactions. Just these little fun cosmetic things. Not even clothes, it's they're going to be like completely unmechanical things that just sort of help, they're just fun. They're just going to be fun things. And I think that's perfectly acceptable. Developers have got to get paid. These artists have got to get paid. They can't they can't just eat nothing. They've got, you've got to make a living. And if people want to keep playing this game and funding the servers and funding the devs' wages and stuff like that, they've got to get paid. So I don't. And also for Microsoft to have interest, Microsoft wants money as well. So I think this is a great compromise. And it sounds as though these things that they're going to let people buy are going to be like, they're not just going to be skins or color swaps or anything. They're actually going to be like a system, and they're gonna be worth the money. So that's how I feel about it. I think it's cool, personally. I don't know what you think. What do you think, man?
I mean, pets are pretty cool. I mean, look, we're at the age now where loot boxes just has this very negative connotation associated with it, because what happened with Star Wars, right? You hear about lawmakers introducing bills to the Senate and the Congress, like one from Hawaii, one from New Hampshire. The ESAs haven't responded. So like I've always said, like, I have no interest in microtransactions the DLC that I want is something like Shadow of War offers like a new story campaign for $15. Cool. That's the kind of content I'm interested in. Cosmetic content, don't care about, right? But like, I'm fine with the idea of cosmetic content in the sense that, like, here's a sword you can buy that is no different than any other sword. And if you want it, you can pay $3 for it. Cool. If somebody wants that sword, they know what they're buying. They know what the price is. They're not getting ripped off because they have to spin a box 100 times to get what they want. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. So the microtransactions in this game don't bother me any, because it doesn't affect progression. It doesn't affect that power. It's all cosmetic nonsense that I don't care about. And people aren't getting ripped off. Like, it's just like, you know what you're buying. You know what the price is. If you think it's a fair value for your money, then buy it. And if you don't, then don't buy it. So it's pretty, it's a good system to me. and especially in when compared with other systems. Now, the question I do have for you, Jez, is the pet stuff, right? Is that only going to be purchasable with real money, or can I accrue enough gold and stuff in the game to be able to buy it for myself, or is it just strictly money only shop?
I didn't ask that question, and I kicked myself for it. I'm sure I could find out, but I think it might be money only.
I would imagine it's probably money only.
I imagine so, because
yeah.
they don't want to add extra currencies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would imagine it's like you want this monkey, you can only buy it, right? Like there's not like, oh, you can pay for this monkey, it's $5, or you can get 10,000 gold and then buy it. I don't think it'll be like that. But before we move on to the next topic, I want you to talk about the Kraken, because you were excited to find out about it, if it was really real, were the rumors true, and you got to see it. So
baby. So like, when I was a little kid, I was obsessed with the giant squid. Like I was a really strange kid, but I had like all these books about the giant squid and nautical legends and stuff. And so like I really love that myth. You know, I love it in games and stuff like that. And I don't think many games have really pulled off the Kraken, the idea of a Kraken boss fight very well. World of Warcraft has a few Krakens, but they're all very scripted, stuff like that. I think isn't there a Kraken in one of the God of War games? I don't know.
God of War 1, I believe. It's like the first boss.
Yeah. So like they have shown up here and there and stuff, and but I think as far as especially an online cooperative sort of game, um there's not that many Kraken type boss fights. Rare showed us a 30-second clip of the Kraken in action, which they haven't shown to the public yet, and I don't know when or if they will. But apparently this Kraken tease was part of a much longer video, and it was absolutely jaw-droppingly awesome. It was just so cool. So like, yeah, basically it was from the Kraken's point of view. So like you have to, because they still haven't shown the Kraken's body, just the tentacles really. So it was showing like the Kraken's tentacle wrapping around the ship, lifting it out the water, picking up pirates, throwing them across the map as if they've been fired out of a cannon, drowning the pirates, and pirates hacking at the tentacles, and ink going everywhere, and it was just nuts, man. It was just so cool. And and also the Kraken can eat you and as well and ingest the players, which is just hilarious. And it was just incredible. It was absolutely incredible. Now it's important to note that the Kraken is not part of any quests or anything like that. It's not triggerable by players. The Kraken is basically a world hazard similar to the storms and stuff like that. You can be sailing on a voyage, blah blah blah, and sometimes, in rare occasions, you will get attacked by a Kraken. You might come across another ship being attacked by a Kraken. Maybe you can go and help that ship, or maybe you can just abuse the situation to steal their treasure chest and stuff like that. But the Kraken's going to be this emergent thing where it changes the dynamic of play. And the Kraken has like different strategies based on different situations, like the weather, for example, and stuff like that. And they said that different Kraken, every time you encounter the Kraken, the fight could play out differently because it's got loads of different strategies it uses to attack players. And it's like this dynamic, evolving boss fight, and each tentacle has its own AI, and the Kraken has an AI brain and stuff like that. But yeah, it's like Samuel Tobber says, it's like straight out of Dead Man's Chest, the Pirates of the Caribbean. It was just super awesome.
And if you finally do kill it, it will have rewards, right?
Yeah, and like everything else in the game, it will drop if you do manage to kill the Kraken, and they're not going to give away the strategy for killing it. But if you do manage to kill the Kraken, there will be great rewards for doing so, and the rewards will still be physical. You still have to pick them up. You still have to go and sell them or hand them in or whatever. So yeah, it was amazing, and I can't wait to see it on the high seas. I almost hope that they don't show a trailer of it, and that the first time it's discovered for players is on a stream, or it's discovered by players
Well,
rather
there were
than
some
just
leaked photos that I
yeah.
saw.
I really love, you know what, I really love those photos, the leaked photos, because they're taken off screen and it makes it look like, I don't know, like
Yeah.
mysterious UFO footage or something like that. Like it's like these grainy shots of like those old Loch Ness monster pictures and stuff like that. Which are too grainy to tell if it's real or not. I thought they were really, really cool. But yeah, it was just so cool, man. That was the Kraken tease was the coolest thing they showed. I'm just really excited for the game. But it's honestly, as excited as I am for Sea of Thieves, it's not going to be for everyone. Like TRZ, I can't pronounce his name. TRZAR Rector in chat just said, I am not totally sold on Sea of Thieves yet. I hope they really flesh it out for single players. I don't think they are going to flesh it out for single players. I mean, it says in the beta now they've updated the login system, and it discourages you from playing solo. It really, really aggressively discourages you from playing solo.
Hmm.
It basically says, do you want to play on a 4-man ship? This is recommended, or a 2-man ship. And then you select 2-man ship, and it's like, do you want to play with 2 players or play solo? And it says playing solo not recommended. Basically, if you're playing on solo, you have to you're probably if you play solo in Sea of Thieves, you're probably the kind of person who really enjoys Elite Dangerous, because that has that sort of lonely feeling and grinding and stuff like that and trading. But um, but if you do want to play it with friends, I think that's where the true magic of Sea of Thieves is going to come in. Um, I think I'll probably play Sea of Thieves solo as well, but I'm the kind of person who did sink dozens of hours into Elite Dangerous, and yeah, I mean, a lot. Ed Torres is going to lose a lot of players like that, in my opinion, but it's a multiplayer game. Not all games are single player games. Not all. It's like saying, um, you know, PubG is not particularly great for solo play. I don't think.
Yeah.
It's more fun. It's more fun with friends. It's more fun in a squad, and it's like that in Sea of Thieves. Like Battlefield One. Even Battlefield One, I can't stand playing Battlefield One solo, because playing with randoms kind of sucks, and it's much more fun if you play as a team and you're using your abilities together and stuff like that. Um, uh, that sort of thing. You know.
Well, thanks for the Sea of Thieves info, Jez. I read all your articles on Windows Central. As always, everybody there can check out all the stuff. I know you probably made a lot more people excited for the game when it finally comes out March 20th. Any word on like an open beta, perhaps?
I think there is going to be an open beta. They kind of hinted at it, didn't confirm it. They just said future tests and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So we're
Um,
about a month away. So if you had to guess, if you had to take a stab in the dark on when they would do an open beta, where would you point to? Early
Probably,
March, maybe.
yeah, early March, early to mid March, I think. Yeah, early
Yeah,
March.
it seems there. I mean, like I said, it was Twitch. It was number one on Twitch a little bit ago. I think League of Legends jump started, but I mean, hell, this was like barely advertised, and I would hope so. I would hope in an open beta they add more content, or at least maybe different content, not like just like here's the closed beta, but open to everybody. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. But we're
Yeah,
gonna
I
move
mean, I really
on.
want the. Sorry, I just wanted to say, like, I really want them to throw the Merchants Guild in as a quest chain, because like the Merchants Guild is the Merchants Guild quests are the ones where you have to go and get animals, and like the
Right.
animals are physical objects too. they can drown. They have to be fed. You have to look after them. If you've got like a boat full of chickens and you go into a storm, the chickens will freak out and there'll be feathers flying everywhere and stuff like that. It's just a crazy game. It's just crazy silly, and it's
Very.
gonna come great situations, I think. But
I'm probably going to play. I'm going to wait for the full release. I played it once in alpha. I played it once in the beta. I'm kind of just waiting for the full game on March 20th. But there's other topics to talk about. I know, Jez got to go to this, very special behind closed doors rare visit. But there was also some information about, well, maybe not so, well, the map, or at least the E3 booth sizes came out, Jez. And I'm sure you saw it on Twitter and elsewhere. People were concerned about Microsoft's booth size. They were concerned that how small it was compared to last year, which was very small compared to the year before. A lot of people are talking about, hey, this means that Microsoft has nothing to show, period. Like, the press conference is going to be 20 minutes long. Microsoft is getting out of the games industry. Microsoft is leaving E3. All these different conspiracy theories based around the fact that, their booth size isn't as big as Nintendo's, isn't as big as Sony's, and quite frankly, isn't even as big as Big Ben Interactive. And what games do Big Ben Interactive even make? So I made a video about it. I kind of said in my video that I felt the booth size has no correlation to what they show at the press conference, because why would it? Because trailers and demos, like, they're all just video. Like, it doesn't really matter how big the booth is. Well, now, obviously, how big the booth is matters to what's playable on the game floor, but most people who have these concerns, they're not even going to be going to E3. They've never been to E3. I've been to E3 once. You've been to E3 multiple times. There are things that a lot of people don't know about, mainly like a lot of these companies actually have in their booth size, they have sections cordoned off to meet the press and meet other executives and have meetings. It's not the entire booth size is like strictly for gaming. A lot of it is also for meetings. A lot of people don't know that Microsoft actually has a press event during the Galen Center after the press conference. One for US press, one for the UK press, where they have all the games set up for you to play. In fact, in 2016, Gears of War 4 was only playable at this press event. It wasn't playable on the show floor, period. It was only playable at this press event. And I think that's where I first met you, Jez, was at that press event, right?
yes.
But people that never been to E3 have no clue about any of this stuff, right? You've been there multiple times. What do you think about Microsoft's booth size being so small, and would it affect what they show, and does it really matter?
I think the whole debate is just stupid. The whole booth size thing is just ridiculous. I mean, for example, I remember last year people were like, "Oh my god, Sony's booth size is huge compared to Xbox." Blah blah. About half of Sony's booth was Destiny 2 stations for playing, and a whole bunch of it was PSVR and stuff like that. And like Capcom's booth was like a huge dragon for Monster Hunter World. So like these booth size thing, people see the square and think every booth is the same. Like Resident Evil 7's booth was like a recreation of the house from the game. It's like you can't glean anything from squares on that map. And Aaron Greenberg even said that the map's inaccurate as well. So, how can you know? But it's like you said, all the action happens at the Galen Center anyway. Like everything that I covered at E3 last year for Xbox happened at the Galen Center. Which isn't the LA Convention Center. It's where Xbox does their press conference, and it's where they have the press in afterwards. So that's where I took photos of the Xbox One X at the Galen Center. That's where I played Ashen at the Galen Center, and Assassin's Creed Origins, and and all the upcoming X games and stuff like that. That was all at the Galen Center. I barely touched the Xbox booth at E3. So it doesn't matter at all. It's completely irrelevant. And I just think it's the whole debate is stupid. It's just weird.
Do you
I
think?
don't,
Do
I don't know.
you think it's mostly just people trying to just be concerned, and I'll use concerned in quotes, about Xbox, just to kind of like throw more shade at them?
It's
Like,
drama
oh,
for the sake of drama. You get like it's just a talking point, isn't it? It's the weekly controversy. Last week it was Game Pass and Sea of Thieves going to Game Pass, blah blah blah. This week it's the stupid booth, blah blah blah. People are already always
and
upset about something.
yeah, and the thing that people remember about E3 isn't the booth, isn't what's in the booth. It's the press conference.
Hell
The
yeah,
press
Microsoft is
conference
an awesome one.
is what matters. If Microsoft has a terrible press conference, that's all people are going to be talking about was what they show at the press conference. They're not going to be talking about what or how many games was playable at the booth. Nobody talks about that besides journalists. And
True.
most people here, aren't going to be going to E3. So all that matters is the press conference.
Yeah,
And
and also there's another thing that isn't on that map is like the second floor where Microsoft actually has its press area.
uh-huh.
So like the LA Convention Center, they have like, and you've got to remember that the whole dynamic of E3 has changed because now it's open to the press. So I mean it's
I
open
mean,
to the
yeah.
public, not
Yeah.
just the press. So Microsoft's press area was like 3 or 4 times the size of their booth last year because they had so many rooms where press could play the games, um, behind closed doors rather than be outside in the noisy, uh, you know, uh, the public booth because it's a nightmare. It's so crowded, it's so noisy. You can't talk to the devs because it's so noisy, and it's just completely crammed.
Yeah.
So
But then again, the people who are concerned about it have never been to E3 and they don't know.
exactly, they don't know. They don't know, man.
They just don't know. They don't know that a lot of the spore space is taken up by meetings. A lot of the spore space is taken up by huge monuments. Like there was when I went in E3 2016, a huge section of the Microsoft's floor space was taken up by the car from Forza Horizon 3. Remember,
Yeah,
just
and
sitting right there, just taking up a whole bunch of space.
yeah,
I, what matters is the press conference. Now, look, with the boot size that small, is it possible Microsoft doesn't have a lot playable? Sure, but and we've talked about this before. Like, maybe me and Jez differ here. I think Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2 will be out before E3, so obviously they probably won't have any stations for that. I think Crackdown is after E3. It'll be shown again. And the only other game I'm kind of expecting from Microsoft is Forza Horizon 4 this year. I mean, I expect Ori to be playable because I think Ori's an early 2019 title. So maybe I expect it on the floor. But if Halo 6 is a 2019 title, it's not going to be on the show floor. Maybe it'll be behind closed doors, unless, of course, there's some like spin off Halo game this year or something like that. But I don't really expect Microsoft to have a lot of playable first party games. Do you kind of agree with me on that, Jez? Like at their own stuff? I just really don't see it.
yeah, I
Barring
agree.
surprise announcements, I guess.
I completely agree. Um, I hope they've got a new build for Ashton mainly.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I better imagine. I mean, that's supposed to come out this year,
is it this year?
2018. I thought it was. I'm pretty sure it was. I mean, you're the one who wrote that article, said it was their most anticipated game, and interview with the devs and everything.
Yeah, but you're also assuming I'm the kind of person who remembers things
I
that
I
happen.
would remember, Jez.
I don't remember anything. I don't even
I
remember
know.
what day of the week it is. But yeah, Ashton was awesome. Like it was just incredible. Absolutely amazing. I think that's going to be the next big one for Microsoft. I think.
You don't think Sea of Thieves is?
I mean, after Sea of Thieves.
You don't think State of Decay 2 is? I thought you loved State of Decay.
Well, that's before E3, isn't it? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I assume it's before E3. I mean, I guess it's possible it could be after.
Mm.
If you had to guess State of Decay's 2 release date, what would you guess?
Oh God, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, if it was before E3, I kind of would have expected it to be announced by now.
You think so?
Um,
I think Microsoft is like really laser focused on Sea of Thieves at this point. You know, like there's still the month of April and the month of May. In fact, with Red Dead moved out of this, spring, there doesn't really seem to be a lot of games scheduled for May this year. God of War is April. May seems to be kind of wide open for the first time in a few years. Why not drop State of Decay 2 in May?
sure, I mean, if it's ready. But the weird thing about State of Decay is we barely seen anything of it.
I know that is true.
I saw State of Decay 2 behind closed doors at last year's E3, and honestly, I wasn't that impressed. I absolutely adored the original. I adored it. I loved it. But I didn't think State of Decay 2 looked that compelling. It looked exactly the same as the first game, just with slightly better graphics, kind of. I mean, for most State of Decay fans, maybe that's all they want. But for me, I was kind of hoping for an evolution of the systems that power the game. The super zombies were all the same ones from the first game. Like it even looked like they were the same models. I was just not I was just not that impressed with it. And yeah, maybe it was an early build or whatever, blah blah blah. But I wasn't that impressed with it. State of Decay 2. So like even as a massive fan of the original, um seeing it behind closed doors kind of made me not care about it as much. And especially because they were showing it side by side against Sea of Thieves, which had this really intriguing concept, and it was really intriguing and unique, and all this mystery about what it was at the time. And then next to State of Decay, which is also a four-player co-op game, which was exactly the same as the first one. I was disappointed. I don't know. So I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with State of Decay.
Hmm. All right. Well, how about we talk really quickly about what the Final Fantasy director said about the next Xbox and PlayStation, shall we? Really fast.
Indeed. What did he say? What
He said that um he thinks that the Xbox 2 plug and the PS5 will take a cue from the music and film industry, and both of them will offer users to subscribe to digital cloud-based services. And that,
Oh snap.
yeah. So that is what his speculation is, and he's the director of Final Fantasy 15. So I I think there's going to be a large push to cloud-based services. Uh, Not with the next console. I think it'll offer something like that, like as like an additional thing. Because one of the things Microsoft did wrong with 2013 was they tried to change everything right away, like literally everything. And it's been shown in studies and time again, like you can't change everything right away. You have to kind of slowly, like introduce changes over the course of time. uh, Microsoft went for the whole kit and caboodle immediately. People were like, no, and obviously things changed. But as you can tell, Microsoft is getting more and more, and Sony as well, like the push for more digital, the push for more subscription services, the push to more games as a service. Like they're introducing things that they kind of introduced in 2013, but at a slower pace over the course of time instead of everything at once. So, in my opinion, the PS5 and the Xbox 2 are both going to be consoles. They're both going to be extremely powerful, or at least more powerful than the X. And I think they both will have some sort of cloud based service attached to it, but the console is still going to be a console you put a disc in, or a console where you still download games from. It'll probably have an ancillary service where you stream games somehow to get people accustomed to that future uh, down the road. That's kind of like my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I agree. I've spoken to people at Xbox and about this topic multiple times, and I don't think there's a desire to end physical game sales. Um, they appreciate. I mean, amongst maybe under Don Matrick, maybe, But I think like with the new thinking at Microsoft, I don't think there's a push to end digital game, physical game sales, and in any way, shape, or form. I think like I agree with you, Rand, that any stream service or any things like Game Pass and stuff, it's going to be offered alongside those. It's going to be offered alongside those things, alongside physical and permanent ownership of digital licenses. It's never going to replace them, um, because streaming games, especially, you need seriously stable and fast internet, and the world just isn't there yet. It's not there yet. Wi-Fi technology is just not there yet for most people. Um, Even when you connect up with Ethernet, there's still latency issues and stuff like that. Especially if you want to play a multiplayer game. Maybe if you're playing a turn-based game like XCOM, it doesn't matter so much how laggy it is. But if you're playing PubG and you've got like, I don't know, 100 millisecond latency or more, it's unplayable. It becomes unplayable. And it's not just the speed, it's the stability that you need. And I don't think we're there yet, and we're not going to be there for a long time. So I don't think Microsoft has any desire to kill local based gaming for cloud based anytime soon. But it's kind of inevitable though. It's the inevitable future, because internet speeds eventually will be fast enough and to replace the need to have the physical device there. If you could have the full power of an Xbox One X, and all you needed was a USB dongle, or I suppose it'd be a Thunderbolt dongle then or something. Um, and all you needed was a dongle connected to super fast future Wi-Fi. People go for the convenience every time. They'll go for the convenience, and you are right completely in saying that you can't just force people to change overnight. But at the same time, people are lazy and they do want the convenience, and that's why Amazon is killing physical retail, because people can't be bothered to shop anymore. People can't be bothered to go out of the house and shop anymore. Like, we've seen this in the UK in droves. People just aren't shopping in public anymore because Amazon makes it so easy to just sit down and just order everything you want from the internet.
Yep, they
So
call it the retail apocalypse.
exactly, it's a retail apocalypse, and it's eventually it'll happen for everything, because the internet will be fast enough and ubiquitous enough to the point where you can stream all your games and it won't have any effect on your ability to play those games. It's not 5 years down the line, maybe it's not even 10 years down the line, but it's coming. It is coming, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gaming Fortnite says we're 5 to 10 years away from an digital console. I agree. It could even be longer. But the thing is, Microsoft is taking its cloud services very seriously. They're taking the cloud services very seriously because they realize the future of everything is probably cloud. And Microsoft are investing heavily in that. And I think Microsoft recently, I don't know if they have fully overtaken Amazon Web Services, but they're getting there. Microsoft are aggressively pushing cloud, and they are chasing Amazon Web Services
It is their number one revenue driver, right? The cloud.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's their core business, basically. It's what Microsoft is at this point.
Yeah, it's over Azure. It's killer. It's killer. Runs all sorts of powerful web services and stuff like that, games and all that sort of stuff. It's running PubG now as well. I don't know, to be honest, off the top of my head, I don't know what services are running on Azure, but it's big services like Netflix, and I think Netflix runs on Amazon Web Services, if off the top of my head. But
Yeah.
it's those sorts of high bandwidth, high revenue deals that Microsoft is looking for with the cloud. So, but again, for consumers, game streaming is just not there yet, and it's only just now that streaming video has gotten there. I mean, I remember when I remember when YouTube first came out, and the idea of streaming at 1080p consistently was that was a dream, when I was a kid. And now we're streaming at 4K on YouTube, and it's not a problem. Eventually it'll be like that for games, and it's gonna take more than a decade, but we'll get there.
Yeah. And some people don't like hearing about this because Todd McDanger says, "Come on, Rand, my Scorpio is only 3 months old," and that's an issue Microsoft's going to face if they're going to be trying to launch another system, whether it's 2019 or 2020. People are going to be like, I just bought my X. I just bought my Scorpio. Like, are we already doing new consoles already? Right? So they kind of got to work with that. But Jez, also, didn't you have a disagreement with me over one of my polls I ran on my Twitter?
Which poll?
The one where I was voting for damn, what poll was it? You were like, how are you voting for this?
Oh, it was a franchise you want to kill poll.
Oh,
right?
yeah. You were very upset that I voted for Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, I mean, tell people, give people the context of this poll.
So I do these polls on Twitter sometimes about, hey, one of these franchises has to be erased from history. So the past games don't exist and no future games. And for the first one, I did the biggest games on the console, like each console manufacturer. So Halo, Uncharted, Mario, and Zelda. And while I understand that Gran Turismo is the biggest PlayStation franchise by sales, I feel like it's a racing game and people would just vote it out automatically, right? So of course, Uncharted won. I mean, yeah, you could say it's a skewed poll because I have more Xbox followers than PlayStation, but Uncharted did win. And then, okay, so I felt, you know what, let's do a third party one. So I did longtime franchises, and it was the choice between Final Fantasy, Grand Theft Auto, Resident Evil, and Elder Scrolls. And I was like, you know what, Elder Scrolls gotta go. It's gotta go because Final Fantasy, Grand Theft Auto, and Resident Evil has shaped, for me personally, they're fantastic games, but they've shaped a lot of they have a lot of legacy. They've shaped a lot of game development. And Jazz took issue with the fact that I voted out Elder Scrolls.
See, that was evil, and I'll tell you why. Because every time they're releasing the Elder Scrolls, it changes the industry. And Oblivion changed the industry, and Skyrim changed the industry, and yeah, there's the whole meme about how they keep re-releasing Skyrim and stuff. But it's like Fallout. Fallout and Skyrim are like on this tick-tock sort of release schedule, where Fallout is kind of like a mod of the most recent Elder Scrolls. So like Fallout 4, I remember when they announced Fallout 4 and they were like, oh, the graphics are disappointing, blah, 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 blah. And it was because it was like, yeah, well, it's basically the Skyrim engine, And but when they release the next Elder Scrolls, it's going to be a leap. It's going to be well, hopefully. I mean, I don't know this, but hopefully it's going to be a leap, and it's going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe it's doing this. I mean, I remember when I first played Skyrim, and I was just blown away by it, man. I was so blown away by it, like shooting. Like I can't remember the name of the spell now, but there's a spell you can get where you can shoot like a ball of light to illuminate like a dark room. And I remember like the volumetric lighting just sort of lighting up this cave that was flowing with water and stuff like that. It was just like, oh my god, that's amazing. At the time, like it was just a stunning game. And you play Skyrim now and it looks like crap, but it's like at the time, it was just incredible, man. And it defined the generation for me. So yes, I was very offended that you wanted to get rid of Elder Scrolls, especially when there were other far more suitable games to get rid of in that list, like Final Fantasy. I voted for Final Fantasy. I voted to get rid of Final Fantasy, and that was kind of painful to do as a Final Fantasy fan. But I think Final Fantasy is totally past its prime, and it's sort of living off its brand.
True, but at the same time, this is also about getting rid of all the previous games. And I just couldn't do that to Final Fantasy because 7, 8, not like the entire history of the game you have to consider.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood the poll then. I thought you were just like canceling.
No, it's like an alternate universe where Final Fantasy didn't exist. You know, like you remove
Oh.
not only any Final Fantasies going forward, but all the previous Final
Okay,
Fantasies.
what were the options again?
It was Final Fantasy, Grand Theft Auto, Resident Evil, and Elder Scrolls.
I'd get rid of Grand Theft Auto in that case.
I think Grand Theft Auto's like too influential. Like that's the thing. Like you got for me, you think of like not only the games I enjoy, but like how they influence the industry. Like Grand Theft Auto 3 and the Grand Theft Auto series in general is like one of the most influential series in gaming. That's why I love doing these polls because it's so interesting to see why people pick what they pick.
Well, yeah, I agree that Grand Theft Auto is crazy influential and a really important franchise. But I personally am not a huge fan of
Right.
it.
So it's got to go, you know, which
So
is
it's gotta
why
go.
I voted Elder Scrolls because it's got to go because I don't really care much for Elder Scrolls. And I think the other three games are way more important to me and to the gaming industry in general. I mean, Jez,
You're
if
wrong.
there was
But
no Resident Evil, there'd be no Gears of War.
I don't care. I don't care about the industry. I only care about me. And
I know.
you can't get rid of Resident Evil because I love Resident Evil so much. It's sort of ingrained in my brain about Resident Evil. Although Resident Evil 5 and 6 were trash. But you know, I've always played Grand Theft Autos, you know, I've always had them, but because it's kind of like the game everybody has. But I think this might be a British thing, right? Because um Grand Theft Auto in England, it's kind of like it's the game everybody plays, literally everybody. And when I was a kid, it was like you couldn't get away from Grand Theft Auto. Everyone was talking about Grand Theft Auto all the time, and it kind of made me sick of it. I don't know. It might sound like a stupid reason, but I was kind of like I was like a hipster. I was like, oh, I don't like Grand Theft Auto, you know. But it just kind of like soured me to the franchise, how popular it was in a weird way. Um, and also, Grand Theft Auto Online is just a ridiculous thing that won't go away. But it's weird because like some of the GTA 4 DLCs, like some of my favorite DLC ever, like Lost in the Damned, sick DLC.
Yeah.
I love that DLC, and I just love that game. GTA 4, and it was just a tremendous game. That's my favorite one, and it's like that's weird because I know a lot of people
Well,
don't like that one the most.
so
But
out of like GTA 4 and 5, like I like 5 better, but out of the other like the 3, Vice City and San Andreas, I like San Andreas the most. But yeah, I don't know. They're nice little polls to do. I got another one coming up here probably tomorrow that's going to be pretty interesting. But I know that Jez, he was pretty tired, so we're gonna have to end the podcast. We went through everything we kind of wanted to talk about, although we did talk about Sea of Thieves a lot,
true that.
which kind of cut down on like the other topics. But hey, we thought about not doing the podcast this week because of Valentine's Day. You know, Jez has a woman he's got to take care of. You know, he's got to make her happy. You get a Valentine's date. Anybody want to be my Valentine's? Just let me know. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for everybody hanging out in chat. Hit the like button if you haven't already. If this is your first time watching on iTunes or SoundCloud, hope you enjoyed it. We do the show every single week. So yeah, Jez, anything to say before we get on out of here?
Don't sleep on Deep Rock Galactic. It's going to be pretty cool. If you've got a dedicated team of friends, check out Deep Rock Galactic. It's coming to Xbox Game Preview, Windows 10, Xbox Play Anywhere, and Steam. And I think it is coming to PlayStation 4 as well eventually, but I think it's a timed exclusive for Xbox. I think it might be a full exclusive, but I think it's probably timed exclusive.
Oh my!
But yeah, that's cool. And also say hi to me on Twitter at JSCorden, and we'll talk games.
And next week we'll bring back the question and answer segment. We just didn't have a lot of time today because Jez got to go sleeps.
I got to sleeps.
He's got to sleeps, and I got games to play. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. Share it out on Twitter and elsewhere if you did. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. And me and Jez will see you next week for a new episode. And who knows what we'll be talking about.
Who knows?
Later.
Hugs.